And also, just a big old thanks from Jed right here for sticking with us all these years, watching all the videos. You guys are clearly here. You've been watching for how many years to see the old Polara finally get done. I am officially a Mopar hermit. You see this beard? That's what happens. So, let's get her done. Thank you guys for being around. She's getting her 4-speed and her big block back. Here we go. Well, welcome back, everybody. Jed Scott here as always, and last time you saw us get the old 400 on the stand and get her running pretty good. And well, it actually runs decent enough. Actually, it runs really good. We got idle set up. It's really snappy. Minimal leakage, nothing crazy. This valve cover leaks a little bit. You can see the oil staining right there on the header, but that's probably just going to need a different valve cover gasket. I put one of the old cork ones on there. Thought it would work, but I'm going to go back with my tried and true Velcros that I enjoy using. And Dad and I's whole plan was to get this thing on the stand, and maybe it'd be here all throughout winter while we got the old red car all ready. However, it's kind of come to our attention that actually that 400 runs good enough that it really doesn't need to take up that space in the stand. And, well, the reason why it was going to live on the stand was while we were waiting to install it, we're going to uninstall the boat anchor here. And that is not the original engine, by the way. That is just literally a boat anchor. And we're going to rip this out of here. And then the goal was to get all the stuff in the engine bay taken care of, but I kind of forgot how intact everything was underneath here. All the wiring, even the throttle cable brackets just hanging over right there. And yeah, so really don't need to focus too much and spend a lot of time in here just cleaning it up. I know I had plans to paint some of this area, but once you put a battery tray there, it won't be too bad. But so the basic plan is to remove the old boat anchor, fix all the brake stuff that we need. We got a dual reservoir master cylinder. See, told you how complete it's all still there. It's kind of amazing all that's been riding around. But we got a dual pot master cylinder to convert it from a single line to a dual line, just like we did on the Girlfriend 64 Dodge Berlin. And wherever that little brass block is, Dad, you got that. Yeah, it's a little piece you can buy online. We got this one at Mancini's, and it just takes the place of the factory little distribution block there, which on these early cars just has a single line running up to the master cylinder, and that would be this guy. And so you replace that little block there, and then you can run a dual pot master cylinder. We got new wheel cylinders for this car. So basically the idea was just to get this thing to where it would be ready to roll around and put a drivetrain in and be running and driving. Well, the old 400 surprises us enough with how it runs so good that, well, heck, we could probably get this thing pulled out, do the brakes, and install a drivetrain. Thank you, Dad. And so that's kind of the goal here, is we're going to jump the gun a little bit and just go ahead and try and get this drivetrain installed before the big old snow on this nice November day.
Why you gotta be here for snow?
Well, because we know it's coming. I know. We don't even want to think about it. Here is the part, if anybody was curious. We got this one directly from Mancini, but yep, for a dual pot reservoir. See there, it takes 2 lines right there instead of the 1 like I showed you. So these things work out pretty nice. They're made by, I think, inline tube or something like that. But yeah. So hope you guys enjoy this. Sorry for being kind of long-winded for an intro, but I think it's time we get right into this and we get some progress done on the old red Polara again. What says you, Dad?
Nothing but a thing.
Nothing but a thing. Well, here's to it. But Did a little bit of work on the engine bay. We're getting ready to yank the boat anchor. I did take some time to finally address that fender, or that inner fender, with the paint that I've got that matches the original paint really well, actually. I didn't worry about filming that too much. I got some overspray I got to take care of down there, but there's original cruddy side, original PP1 red, and then that is Rust-Oleum red. It's the same stuff I used to paint under the hood. One of these panels has been painted and one's just been polished. Can you tell? Of course, it's pretty obvious to tell which one because it's got more paint on it. But anyways, enough yakking. We're gonna yank this boat anchor out of here. Of course, first, remove the hood. Dad marked where our hood hinges are because the hood sits really good where it is and we don't want to readjust it 100,000 times. So we'll get the hood off and like I said, we'll yank the boat anchor and then we'll get to see about installing that beauty right there. Ah, oh yes. Oh, sorry, we're still recording. Yeah, I was just admiring that because the sun was gleaming right off the chrome. All right, let's make it happen, guys. Well, you guys have definitely seen this a time or two on this channel if you ever watched. It's just the easiest way to remove an engine. Great work as always, Dad. That was about the easiest uninstall ever. So, now that the boat anchor's gone and I no longer even got to think about that pile of crap, we have access to everything we need to. So the steering column for the Polara is not in the best shape. It's, well, it's a little on the messed up rattly side. It's missing a bunch of pieces and it has been since the day I bought it. And well, when I was at Mocan with Dad earlier this year, I found a whole complete 64 column for like $100, I think. It's cheap now, Dad. So the joke here is one of these steering columns was bought for parts at a swap meet and the other one just came out of my 64 Polara. Let's see here. This kind of looks like the main bearing here. Let's see, I don't really think that's supposed to do that. You know, I may be wrong, but I think this is the good one here. I think that's the one that was bought for parts, and look at that. It's the
Looks like a new one.
It's like almost like it was bought with the intentions of it being a manual steering column, and it'll be able to go right in place of that crappy one. I mean, that perfectly good unit right there. It's a great shape. So I painted it black, and so I'm gonna ditch the original column. It's gonna go bye-bye because the other one's even got the little boot right here, and get that out of there. Plus it'll all be detailed. I want to get this plate maybe painted so that way nobody gives me crap. I got to scratch up this inner fender a little bit more so that way it starts to look more like that one. Clean all the K-member, make sure all the paint still looks good from when I painted it. Touch up the overspray there. And of course, get all the wiring and shit done here. And then Big Block 4-speed installed because, well, it's a running drivetrain ready to fire up and go any minute. So we'll be back on the road, but unfortunately, it being basically the tail end of November, gonna probably have to wait a while before we get to enjoy her. But you know what? It is a rust-free 64 Dodge now, and it might warrant some snow donuts. Maybe I'm over-promising, I don't know. But this is progress, guys. Well, today is gonna be a pretty cool day, I think. Because, well, we got the old 400 running again on the stand, and everything's running pretty good. It's got a couple of minor leaks, nothing great big. Headers probably aren't going to stay on it, but today is December 27th, I want to say. It's remarkably nice outside. And so Dad and I are going to take advantage of this since everything's ready to go right there. And well, I think we have procrastinated plenty with the old 64 Polara 500. So we're at that point where I finally got everything in the engine compartment and interior compartment taken care of. We got all the wiper stuff put in there. The heater box is installed and got those bolts there, all the nuts on there. Leaving the steering column out for now. I took that out last night, and we got all the brake lines and everything pre-made for the new dual pot master cylinder, and all of the 4-speed stuff that's supposed to be right there is currently in place. And well, other than bolting that guy back up, but original motor mounts and the irons are there. So the idea is basically just take the engine and transmission there as we've always done, and basically load it in here with the spreader beam, and we'll get the engine and transmission stabbed, hopefully installed, and then we can put the hood back on this old girl. And well, then it's really just easy work. It's deciding on HP manifolds or headers, then putting all the clutch linkage together. We got all the rest of the stuff from Danny Brewer. We got a new master cylinder, hook up all the wiring, get a battery box or battery tray, because I keep forgetting to buy one or find one. And well, we're finally at this point, and I am kind of excited because Dad's got the old service truck running, because well, it's been a while since well, we've got to break out the extra long jack stands. These are our, I know people are going to get nervous about maybe seeing them, but these are two 15 by 8 vector style wheels. They're bolted together. I got 4 of them, and well, we take Dad's crane and we like to pick up the whole nose of the car, put it high up in the air, and that's how we like to stab our engines and transmissions, as one unit using the crane. And then we'll put those on underneath those wheels to basically give it a lot of extra height so we can crawl underneath there. And while we're underneath this car, I really want to paint everything underneath, because it's got all the new floorboards and everything my buddy Dan did. And I haven't crawled underneath, but I'm pretty sure I'm gonna need to paint underneath the car. And so I want to get all that protected too. So this is gonna be a long, fun day. We got a little bit of a late birthday celebration for Dad, because his birthday was last week, right before Christmas, and we're gonna aim to do that tonight. But we're also hoping to get this old girl basically put together, because I've owned this car for far too long, and the fact that it still is all apart, we're gonna fix that. So guys, gals, hope you enjoy this as we put my red big block 4-speed 64 Dodge Polara 500 back together finally. And like magic, it is all up on those wheel stands. It's how we've always put a lot of our cars together. It's just real easy. Gets it up in the air quite a bit, and gives you plenty of room to work on things. Wow, that's kind of, well, I'm glad I got some paint to take care of all that, make that all look good. Ooh, that was considerably uglier than I was anticipating, being honest with you. But I'm gonna move my Tornado, because I know I'm gonna be painting underneath there probably. So let's just see how the old 66 does. Ugh. These cars are so daggone cool. And yeah, this one's not in like super primo shape, but you know, it's all right. I'm kind of impressed that fired right up as good as it did, as easy as it did. You know, I haven't really done a lot of videos in the Tornado. I just kind of got it. It was a cool car. I always wanted another one, kind of like the 300 there. And I didn't really ever anticipate having a Tornado with a big lumpy cam. It's kind of weird. Every time I fire this car up, it just baffles my mind that it's making the sounds it is. I'll let you know here in a second. I love this thing at idle. I really want to put the Oldsmobile trumpet exhaust on there. All right, well, we're gonna move Tornado, continue on with the big block 4-speed red Dodge. Back one of those archaeological site digs.
It's a barn find.
That's as far as it opens. Oh, it's just going to leak.
That's fine.
So now, we get to start the fun job, which is undoing the headers, draining the coolant, which that's really about it. Disconnect a few things. I never did replace that one plug wire. It's still got the blue guy on there. But it's probably not going to keep the headers. I was researching, and I don't think these appliance headers I got from my buddy Jesse are going to work at all. They don't have the right tubing to work with the early B-body, but that's fine. We got all sorts of options, but the main goal is just to get this into that guy right there and make it a complete car. And we got all the extra pieces here, all the stuff from Brewers, the oil, all the new parts here for the 4-speed if we need any of it, but we're gonna need it. So
With the engine installer 2020.
yes, if you ever wanted to figure out a way on how to stab your engine with your intake, even if you got a tunnel ram, Dad's genius device right there. It's super simple, but it works fantastic. You never got to take your intake manifold off. You can leave it all buttoned up. You might take your air cleaner off, but yeah, it works out pretty good. The old spreader beam.
Yeah, put a come on there and you jack it one way or the other.
Yeah, I mean, we do actually have one of these leveler guys here, but just being all honest, it's not as handy as the come-along setup that Dad's got engineered, which you folks will probably see in this hyperlapse coming up. So, you ready to make this happen, Dad?
I reckon so.
I'm gonna go drive my Tornado while you get to do all this crappy work.
Oh, man.
Yeah, I gotta go do some painting.
Okay.
All right, here we go.
Drain the water. I got a cleaned antifreeze bucket from yesterday.
Oh, perfect. That old girl is just pretty daggone sweet. I got 2 luxury cruisers, and I always kind of plan on having a battle between them where I have to decide which one I'm going to keep and which one to sell because you don't really need 2 of them. But that's not going to happen. It's just not going to happen. I love these things too much, and the sounds this one makes is the sounds that I want every daily driver to make. And unfortunately, that sounds pretty good, and 400 sounds good for that, but they both don't do that. So, yeah. This is how you become a car hoarder. I'm okay with it, actually, because I always live by the mantra, it's not hoarding as long as it's cool stuff. And, you know, technically that's all subjective and according to your opinions, but, you know, yeah, I'm just going to keep telling myself that. All right, now we're actually going to get to work now that everything's moved around. All right, I'm going to refilm this little update because I found more paint and looks a lot better now. At least I was able to get a lot more coverage. I got just about all the nooks and crannies. The new metal married with what's left of the old metal. Went up to the firewall. You're never gonna see it. I'm gonna come back and probably get that frame rail on up. But yeah, now we are at that point where we can stab the drivetrain and this old girl can finally be back together. Oh yeah, and I did do some more touch-up painting on the firewall. I am really impressed with how good that stuff matches actually for out of a rattle can. On one side of this, it kind of looks kind of obvious, but you know, it's amazing what you can do with just a little bit of blending in with spray paint. All right, so the viewers who have endured all of this walking and talking and not a whole lot of work getting done, I just want to show everybody on YouTube land, Dad's birthday gift finally showed up. It's several days late, but yeah, found that on eBay. Didn't even know that was a thing, and did some research. Yeah, you little animatronic teddy bear.
So what? It's phone recorder or something?
Yeah, it answers the phone for the tech line, supposedly, for customer care. Like, supposedly, I guess, I ain't watched any videos on it, but supposedly you can record a message and it will read out that message or something like that.
Got a little box down here in a phone line. If we had anybody had a phone line anymore.
Yeah, we used to have a landline, but I'm glad that he showed up, and yeah,
He's gonna be cool.
very much so.
He's always been cool.
Alrighty, well, it'll probably be tomorrow, but it'll get done. We'll get the engine stabbed in there.
Big Block.
Well, we've made it to this point in the engine install where the spreader beam is hindering the abilities, but we're pretty daggone close to everything else. The point that even got the transmission cross member out and the mount, and got the transmission supported. Gonna start jacking it up in the back to help level everything out. And that'll eventually lead to the spreader bar being removed, motor mounts being hooked up, and that beautiful turquoise lump will be planted in the red pile of crap. Alrighty, well, we got the transmission installed, cross member, all that's back in place. We'll get the new O-ring for the speedometer gear drive to put in there, and get all the other stuff lined up for the Z-bar. Not going to worry about that right now. Main focus is get this engine in here, and we can do all that stuff later. But new starter's already on there. Motor mounts are basically all lined up, so it'll be nice to have this in there. And it looks like I should have room for my air cleaner and everything. So, how's this side look? Are we pretty well, yeah, we're pretty well lined up too. All right, well, I guess that's technically engine installed. You know, I mean, I guess mounts would be, bolts to hold the engine in place would be nice, but when those motor mounts break because they're the originals, I mean, we could just leave the bolts out and just go ahead and alleviate that problem right now.
Put a strap over it.
Yeah. But I was gonna let the camera charge and not have too much walking and talking footage, but this, I didn't get to really show it because we were hyperlapsing underneath the car. But all the cross member bolts literally just fell right in the holes. No fighting, no nothing. And Dad just said that that motor mount bolt just slid right into place. And the fact of the matter of that happening is kind of nice, that the car might stop fighting us for once. Or it's just preparing us for a bigger sabotage later.
Setting us up.
Yeah. 'Cause I mean, that's looking really nice. It really is. I'm digging the hell out of that, but alrighty, well, engine and transmission bolted down tight, secured, in there for good. It's good to finally be done. So We got a bunch of little stuff we got to put together in there for the 4-speed linkage. We got the column to put back in. We got all this little stuff, master cylinder to finish up, do all the brakes, fuel line, you know, all this other little crap that's normal. Make sure the radiator fits good. Might have to remove that spacer, might get a different one, yada yada yada. But right now, kind of the thought is we got to leave on a road trip tomorrow, and we got some sunlight still, some daylight. So we're gonna try and get this hood on, which means lifting the car back up, taking the wheel stands out, and then getting the hood on, and we'll probably end up putting it back on those wheel stands. Seems like a lot of extra work, but yeah, it's just the way we do things.
And all the places are all in the same spot.
Dad's having fun digging through the Polara's original wiring. Discovered the original tack wire, water temperature, all this stuff, and figuring out what might be actually be missing from the firewall. And one thing that's really freaking neat that we have the ability to do with 64 Dodges as well, we need a reference.
Not in that hole. Go cover.
This is a voltage regulator.
Voltage regulators, there's a low pressure cinder wire, same color. So we need the voltage regulator. And there's that hole.
Yeah, it's just got a plug in it.
So we need the forcible resistor.
Yeah. Oh, that one's probably the dead one on here, so we could just rob that one. And then that'd give us an excuse to actually bolt that one back in, because we never did that.
This is the good one?
Yes, the one's hooked up. Yeah, we got, technically we got 2 other 64 Dodges still. We have Anna's Erlene, and then the white one, which I have traded for a pair of W2 heads and some other cool stuff. But, this one's, well, yeah.
It's a Hemi.
And the most unfortunate stain ever known to man. But it's kind of disappearing on its own. I feel good for Howard now, because he ain't gonna have to sit there and rub that off now.
That one ain't right phrase.
Nope. It was better than rub it out.
Oh, yeah.
I don't think there's any good terms for it. It's the whole reason of getting rid of this car, because as cool as it is, it's still rustier than crap. And at least all the same rust as the red one. But I didn't want to mess with that. It's just, nah, I'm good. So, now we know what goes in all those little holes and everything. We're gonna get this hood on here, and I'm gonna find out if my air cleaner is gonna work. I already modified the original Super Commando chrome air cleaner to have a drop base, but hopefully we're gonna have it clear. And probably end up raising the car up a little bit in the front. It's got a really killer stance, but it's also quite low. It's lower than what most guys do on early B bodies. But, you know, I like to dare to be different. Alright, we're going to try and fit the old air cleaner. All right. Is it going to clear? I can't believe that. I figured that was gonna hit. That should not have cleared. And yeah, we got this side poking up a little bit, but that's nothing. But yeah, we got room. And I even got washers stacked. God, that looks great. I like that a lot. Yeah, no witness marks of hitting. So,
Lower this hinge a little bit.
hell, I'm pretty happy with that. Well, folks, as far as videos and making videos go, I really don't know if I could really say I need to do any more or we need to do any more, because it seems like we've done an awful lot with the old Polara in the time we've had here on camera. I mean, it's back together. It's got its engine, transmission, all that crap. So I think this is the best part and best opportunity for Dad and I to pat ourselves on the back and call it a day. I want to thank everybody for sticking through the Polara build with us up to this point. We got a lot more little crap to go, but nothing that really needs to be filmed, I think. So, as always, guys, gals, everybody, thank you for checking this out. It means a lot. Look forward to seeing you folks in the next video. So as always, Dad, what do you got to say?
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Little Themey was just sleeping. How are you doing, little girl?